Now starting, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this presentation of 7 sources for IELTS reading excellence. So today we're going to look at 7 websites that you can use to read while you are doing your IELTS preparation. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, looking at the poll results, I asked the question, how often do you read during the week? And 53% of you said daily, and 24% said often, 12% said fairly often, and 12% said not very often at all. All right, so 53% for daily reading. That's very good. Reading, very important for IELTS success. You can encounter the grammar, different grammar structures, which will help you in your writing and also in your reading as well. Reading, of course, is going to also improve your vocabulary. Let's look here. Okay. So as I said, reading is also going to improve your vocabulary. And the more that you read in English, the faster it's going to and easier it's going to be for you to be able to read in English, which is going to help you on the reading test and across the whole test, actually. The faster that you can consume information on the IELTS test, process it, and get to the answer, the quicker you can get on to the next task. So it's very important to increase your speed of reading as well while you're on the exam. Now, here are the 7 sources that we're going to look at, and make sure that you download the handout that I uploaded here to the webinar, because it's going to have the links to these websites. We're also going to take a look at these websites, and I'm going to explain to you why each of these is important in your IELTS reading. Of course, these is only 7 resources, but this will get you started for if you need to read English on a daily basis. Okay, so one of the websites we're going to look at is usatoday.com, The Economist, Smithsonian Magazine, Scientific American, History Extra, Australian Geographic, and Knowledge at Wharton. All right. So it's very important when you're reading to read outside of your comfort zone. Read outside of your comfort zone. Most of you are medical professionals, and so you know medicine quite well. But you need to read outside of medicine, read outside of science. Even though I mentioned some science articles here, they're in English, and they deal with a broad swath of different, of course, scientific topics. This is such a broad subject. Second of all, you want to read daily. So those 53% of you that in the poll said that you read daily, you're doing the right thing. You have to, of course, do something every day that's going to help you on the IELTS exam. IELTS preparation is like a marathon. You don't wake up on a Saturday morning and say, oh, I'm going to go run the 10K or I'm going to go run the 5K. No, those athletes train many weeks before they arrive there on that marathon day, and doing their exercises, running, sprinting, and conditioning themselves for that special day. And it's the same thing when you're studying for the IELTS exam, for test day. You have to be ready, and there's something you have to do every day, whether it's reading or you're doing something for the IELTS specifically, a certain skill that you may need on the IELTS test, practicing your reading, timing your part 2 responses, increasing your vocabulary. All of these things accumulate to help you to have excellence on exam day. You also want to read for vocabulary, as I mentioned. Reading is the best way to improve your vocabulary. It's a slower method. You're going to have to maintain a vocabulary notebook. I suggest that, at least, so that you write down the context of the words that you don't understand. Maybe a couple of words before it and then a couple of words after it. So you have not just the word in isolation, but you have the word in context. So when you go back in the dictionary and you're trying to find the definition of that word, then you'll have the context to help you understand it, because sometimes the word can have more than one definition. Um, Reading for knowledge. Well, you don't have to have any specific special knowledge on the IELTS exam for the topics that they're going to give you. But just for your own personal growth and your own personal knowledge, you're studying to come take the test and to work later in the US, then you need some common knowledge in English. Uh, you may already have some of this knowledge already in your own language, and that's going to be very helpful when you go read about it in English, because it's going to be very familiar to you. And the more familiar you are with these topics, the better you're going to be able to handle them whenever they come up, whether it's in a conversation or you're talking with friends at lunch or something like that. So reading also is good for knowledge. And finally, reading is also good to help your grammar. As I mentioned, when you're reading, you can see the different grammar structures that are used. And these 7 sources that we're looking at today, they're not graded reading, which is a lot of times what you see in your English classes abroad. The textbooks are written at a level that the class is at, right? But these resources, these 7 sources we're going to look at today, these are for native speakers, right? There's no pretend here. This is exactly what you would see if you were a native speaker going to read about this information. So it helps you to improve your reading speed and knowledge while you're going to these websites and seeing the authentic English language, and also for you to be able to see the different grammar structures. Um, and these are some of the same structures that you can use in your own writing and speaking when you're on the test. So reading, as they say, reading is fundamental. It's also one of the first skills that you pick up when you learn a different language, because you have the words right in front of you, right? And you feel more confident and secure because you have the words on the page. They're not going. It's not like when you're speaking. You can't see the words. Well, when you're reading, you can see the words, see the structures, see the paragraphs, see the thesis statements, the topic sentences that are used in the paragraphs. Same thing that you can do in your own writing. So reading is fundamental, and as you can see, it has a big benefit for you for preparing for the exam. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to switch over to these websites that we're looking at today. So first one we're going to look at is usatoday.com. All right, so let me see where we are here. Okay, it's a little slow catching up. All right. Okay, so this is usatoday.com. It's not one of my favorite papers, as I tell my students, but I think it's great for English students. As you'll notice here are at the top, they have various categories: news, sports, entertainment, life, money, technology, travel, and opinion. So you have a wide variety of topics that you can read upon here. This is a free website. As you can see, it's very colorful. It has a lot of pictures, but it has some good vocabulary as well. The articles are well written. They're not really at a college level. We're going to look at the Economist next about that. But these are what I like about the USA Today is that you get the broad perspective on issues. You can read a travel article, and then you can click over and read a technology article, and then read a financial article, all in one place. So you don't have to go to a lot of websites. You can just go to this website, and you can read on a lot of different news articles, and it's free. It's free. Now, there is an app. I'm not sure if it's available outside of the US, but there is an app that you can download as well for your smartphone or tablet. Okay, so this is USA Today. As I said, I would say a general newspaper. You know, it's mainly for the masses, for mass circulation, mass publication, and best of all, it's free. Um, Next, let's go to The Economist. All right. Now, The Economist magazine at economist.com. This is from outside, published in London every week. It's a weekly magazine, news magazine. It has financial information, political information, what I call social information, scientific information as well. Um, this is written at the level that you will find on the IELTS test. This is the level of English that you will find on the IELTS exam. So you're going to notice it's a much higher level of English than that you will see on the usatoday.com website. Now, it is not free. It is a subscription-based website. However, if you sign up for their email, and let's go here. You'll notice that it says if you want to continue reading, you can sign up for their email. And you can get like 2 or 3 articles free per month or something like that. So it's if you don't pay, it has limited access. But this is more the English level that you're going to find on the articles that you're going to find on the IELTS test. And since the IELTS test is out of Britain, they actually may have some Economist articles in the reading that you do. So this will help you get more accustomed to the level of reading that you're going to find on the IELTS test. And as I said, it's not free, but you can look it up. You can subscribe to their email, and I think you might get 2 or 3 articles free per month. All right. This is The Economist. All right, let's go to another a U.S. source here, and this is the Smithsonian magazine. In Washington, D.C., when you come to the U.S., you want to definitely stop by and go to the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., and there on the Mall, as they call it, it's a large grassy area between the Washington Monument and the U.S. Capitol building, is the location of most of the Smithsonian museums. And Smithsonian was I believe, a philanthropist who left these museums to the American public. And there are many types of museums there: art museums, history museums, science museums. And they produced this magazine, Smithsonian Magazine. And it is free. It is written by a lot of different experts. So these are going to be, again, authentic English articles written by different experts on a wide variety of topics. And again, this will be more the level of English that you would see on the IELTS exam at a very high level. And it is free as well. It's free to read. And here are just some of the articles that they have on here right now. Of course, they are updating it constantly. And I believe there's an email as well that you can subscribe to, and you can get email news from them in that email. So this is Smithsonian Magazine. So it's also cultural as well. And as you can see, they have different articles at the top: smart news, history, science, ingenuity, arts and culture, and travel. So they have a variety of articles as well, but also written at a very high level, at a higher level of English. Okay, let's move on now to Scientific American magazine. Uh, so as I said, you do want to read outside of your comfort zone. Scientific American covers all many facets of science. Of course, there's been a lot on COVID lately because of the epidemic around the world, and of course, people's interest in reading about the virus. Um, but there's a lot more information in here as well on different, and see, the first story, COVID. Um, but there's a lot of information in here as well about different parts of medicine, policy and ethics, medicine, mental health, evolution, natural disasters. So this would be reading outside of the medical world and also broader because as we know, the science world is huge. And Scientific American brings you a whole see, here's an article on physics. So the whole world of science they report on. And so this can broaden your knowledge in the scientific field as well. And of course, science is one of the topics that is rather popular on the IELTS exam. You might get a science article to read or an essay topic based on a scientific issue or something, or maybe even a speaking question. So science definitely important to be informed about in English, and Scientific American is a great website to help you do that. Um, so um, I think they also have, most of these places have an email that you can sign up for, and you can get like a list of articles. I don't know how often it comes out. Scientific American is mostly free. Scientific American is mostly free. And most of the articles I have clicked on, they have been free. Let's see. Let's just try this one here. Neanderthal and DNA. So this one is actually an audio. It has an audio here. So you may even see 60-second science. Um, and this is it looks like this is a podcast that they actually have here because they have it in Apple and Apple iTunes. So this is actually a podcast. So this is a twofer. You get to read and you have chance to listen to English as well about science. All right, let's go to our fourth place here about history. History Extra. Now this is from the BBC, and as you can see, they have a story about Abraham Lincoln right here on the front story, on the front page. And they have a lot of different historical articles. This comes from the BBC, so it's from Britain, and it's not free though. They they do allow, you can sign up for a newsletter, and you get again like 2 or 3 articles free per month or something like that. But this is a website that allows you to read about history, uh, and again, um, you get a different perspective in English, some different words, different issues that you may have not read about previously. Uh, and so this will also help expand your horizons, broaden your perspective of the English-speaking world, and again, read articles that you probably normally would not come up against, but are good to use uh, in practice for the reading test on the IELTS exam. Now, a freer version of this, let me go there, is from the History Channel. You might be familiar with this on your cable, is the History Channel. And this is at history.com. History.com. And this is more based, I guess, based off of the History Channel that you have on your cable. And I believe most of this website is free as well. So either History Extra from the BBC or history.com from the History Channel. These are some good places to read about different historical articles and issues. Okay, let's go on to Australian Geographic. Now, Nat Geo, which is the American version, is not a free website from my experience. Most of it is not a free website. So I came across instead the Australian Geographic. And it's, I guess, based off of the same concept where they have a lot of articles about nature, the environment, and from Australian perspective. And again, it's probably going to be written in the British English um, or the Australian English, which is going to be copying the British English. But good information to read about the environment. And as you know, the environment is one of the top issues, uh, popular issues that is on the IELTS exam. They often ask questions in the speaking part about the environment, or they'll give you a essay topic about the environment, or who knows, you may read about an environmental issue in the reading part of the IELTS exam. So as you can see, reading broadly in different publications in English are going to prepare you for success on the IELTS test. And that's why it's important to have a daily reading habit and reading different topics. As you can see, we've talked about general news with USA Today, The Economist with specific news that are written more at the IELTS level, scientific news with Scientific American, historical news, and now environmental news about here from the Australian Geographic, and they have different topics here as well. And as you can see, videos. So again, you can read and you can watch videos, listen to the audio, and become more informed about the topics that they're talking about. All right, and let's go finally to our seventh source here for IELTS reading, and that would be the Wharton, the Knowledge at Wharton. This is the name of the website, Knowledge at Wharton. Wharton is the business school at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia in the U.S. It's one of the top business schools in the world and in the country as well. And they have a well, as you can see, they offer podcasts. They also have different topics that you can read on from the business perspective, um, and financial articles, business articles, um, all really a whole gamut of issues about the financial world. And also, I don't know why it's not showing up so clearly here, but also different places around the world as well. They have different articles about different regions of the world. So this gives you more of a financial perspective and issue on things. Reading here on the Knowledge at Wharton. This is the graduate school there. So I would probably expect these articles to be at a higher level than you may be accustomed to. But then again, higher level reading is going to challenge your reading. This is going to help you to be familiar with more with different grammar structures, different vocabulary, different perspectives. Um, as you can see, they also have it in various languages as well. So this is quite an international website here dealing with finance and business. So we've talked about so far, as I was going through earlier, we talked about generally the USA Today, which can give you a very broad perspective in one location on different topics. The Economist magazine for economic, social, and political issues. You can sign up for their email and get about 2 or 3 articles free per month, and this is the level that you will encounter on the IELTS exam. The Smithsonian magazine, cultural, travel, science, history, all kinds of news that they have, news about the different exhibits that they have at their museum, uh, and a lot of cultural issues as well that you can read about in English, written by experts at a very good level of English. Scientific American, this may be of interest to you as well. You may already be familiar with the Scientific American magazine, with reading about different parts of science. Um, okay, History Extra, we're talking about history, the History Channel as well, history.com, uh, different types of articles than you might not be accustomed to help challenge your reading as well. And Australian Geographic about a lot of environmental issues and the ecology and some science as well. And as they said, they have videos that you can watch on there. And finally, Wharton, the knowledge at Wharton about business, finance, from an international perspective and a higher level of understanding as well. And this website also offers podcasts, so you have a chance to listen to some of these articles as well. So some of these websites that I've mentioned today are multimedia. So not only can you have a chance to read, but you can also watch the videos or listen to the podcasts as well. And of course, we will talk about listening in a webinar on another day. 7 sources of listening uh, for IELTS excellence. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about IELTS reading? Uh, has anyone read any of these websites before? Is there one that you like in particular or one that you find interesting? Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Well, make sure that you download the handout for today's presentation. It's going to have links to the various websites that we talked about today. Um, Thank you for participating in the poll as well. 53% of you said you have a daily habit for reading. That's very encouraging. That's definitely going to help you on the exam, not just in the reading test itself, but generally reading in English to improve your fluency, but also to help you improve your speed. And the faster that you can read on the exam and process information and get the answer, the quicker you're going to be able to move on to the next task. And remember, one of the reasons people do not get the score that they want on the IELTS test is because they run out of time and they don't finish the section that they're working on. And sometimes that could be because you're not reading quick enough to get the answers that you need. So definitely continue your daily reading habit. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for, we have a whole series of 7 sources for IELTS excellence that are coming up. This is the first one in the series. Make sure that you attend the other ones as well to help broaden both your IELTS and English skills so that you get that high test score that you seek and deserve on the exam. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day.